Hey, all right. So, as you can see, you're with the Soul Kitchen soldiers here. We're gonna make my grandma's meatballs. That's the Grandma Maciariello from Pietramellara, Italy. Okay, she handed down the recipe to my mom. My mom handed it down to her sons. So I don't make them too often, but we decided to make them, and Holly thought it was a good idea that we videotape it, so we're going to share it with the Main Street community. Okay, so first I'll go through the whole recipe. We're making a lot of meatballs, so we're going to start with 5 pounds of hamburger, okay? Chopped meat. We're using 15% fat. Right now it's really expensive. They're gouging at Acme. So don't run out and buy it now. We use 5 pounds of hamburger. So write this down because I'm not going to be handing it out. 2.5 tablespoons of salt. 1 teaspoon of pepper. We bought fresh parsley and chopped it up. We're using 4 tablespoons of parsley. 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. Now, if I was a real paisan, I'd be chopping the garlic. I know, this is like sacrilege, but I'm lazy, so we're using garlic powder. 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. You can use plus or minus, depending on how much garlic you like. 6 cups of breadcrumbs. So what we did is we bought this Italian bread. It's a white bread, comes in a big loaf. We laid it out overnight. Flipped it a couple times, let it get really, it's almost like toast, you know? You basically let it get stale. Then it's easy to break up. Break it up into the size of croutons, you know, maybe 1/2-inch squares. And then you use 6 cups of those, okay? So 1 loaf, a little left over makes that. 2.5 cups of milk. 4 large eggs. Get your regular eggs there. And 5 tablespoons of cheese. Okay, so here we did the right thing. We used the Pecorino Romano. Ground it up really nice. Grated it really nice. You can buy the pre-grated stuff if you want, but why not go fresh? Okay, so maybe I make up a little there where I chinced on the garlic. And that's it. So you throw all that, first you throw all the chopped meat into a big bowl like this. Use your stainless steel bowl, throw the chopped meat in there, and then just add all the other ingredients. And then go in there with your nice clean hands and you mash it all up, mix it all up together so it's nice and evenly mixed. And then basically you'll have a big pile of this mixture. You get a bowl of warm water and set it aside, because while you make the meatballs, you want to be rinsing your hands thoroughly. As the meat mixture starts sticking to your hands, you can rinse your hands off and start again. And I'll show you in a few minutes what it's like making the meatballs. Here's a couple of trays of them made up. One hot batch, spicy hot, and one not so hot. And so what I did is I split the mixture in half, and in 1/2 I put crushed red pepper flakes in it. So you can put, I don't know, we eyeballed it, probably a tablespoon or 2 of these in like 2.5 pounds of mixture. After that, we kept them separate. I boiled them up separate, and so we're gonna have a batch now that's hot. Now, if you want to use real hot peppers, you can do that too. But again, I got lazy and I used this stuff. Works. We got a couple of trays already in the oven. So preheat the oven for at 350 degrees. These are going to go in there for 35 minutes. You make the meatballs about 1.5 inches. This mixture should make about 85 meatballs. Make them about 1.5 inches a piece. You should get about 85. And like I said, we'll show you in a second how we make the meatballs and spread them out on the trays. Yo, here you go. Take a screenshot of this. Okay, so I got a little bit of the mixture left over, and I thought I'd show you the process of making the meatballs and putting them in the pans. And you remember I had 2 different batches. I had a not so spicy and a very spicy. Put some heat in this one. So I kept them separate, and I'm putting them in 2 separate trays so the heat doesn't bleed over, in case, for those that may not want a hot meatball. So it helps, this stuff gets really sticky, so it helps to keep your hands wet. This is a suggestion by Holly, but after I started doing it, I actually remember my mom doing this. So you ball them up and make about 1.5 inch ball. Once your hands are wet, it doesn't stick, makes them nice. You put them in the trays. Again, you spray them down with some olive oil spray, the trays, so that the meatballs don't stick. That's all. You just roll them up like that, and you put them so they're just not touching each other. It's gonna make a nice meatball. Okay, so after 15 minutes, what we gotta do, gotta get the dogs out of here. Make sure there's no dogs in the way. You pull them out and you flip them. So basically you're doing 15 minutes aside. That's what the tray looks like, a full tray when you go in. 15 minutes, just flip them and put them back in for another 15 minutes and check them, make sure they're good. Check in with you later. All right, so we had them in for 15 minutes, pulled them out, we flipped them, put them back in for another 15 minutes. So they've been in for 35 minutes so far. I'm gonna take out a tray and check them, just make sure they're cooked. Leave the other tray in there for now. So what we did is, you want to get a little closer here, is we took the biggest one, kind of opened it up, checked out the inside. Look at that, no pink, it's thoroughly cooked, and they are still very moist. Look at those meatballs, huh? That makes a nice meatball. All right, so now we just take these out and leave them aside and let them cool, and make sure there's no snipers around. And my mom used to make the meatballs and put them out on the counter, and then when she wasn't paying attention, my father used to come by and like snipe them. So by the time she was ready to have them cool down and put them in the sauce, she only had like half of what she started with. But my father was real good at sniping meatballs. We learned from the best. Hey, Hal? Hey, Hal? She's not around. What we really got to do is we got to check them out. Okay? We just don't look at them. We got to sample. So we take the one that we opened up here. These are the spicy ones. So I want to make sure. Oh man, that's nice. These are the hot ones. Like I said, I think I used about 2 tablespoons of the red pepper flakes. Probably could have gone a little more. Got some kick to it. Whoa, 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 Holly's coming, Holly's coming. Okay, so once you're convinced they're they're good and you've sampled. You pull them out and you let them cool. And there's two things you can do with them now. If you're making a nice sauce from scratch, you could throw them right in the sauce. Once the sauce is hot, these are already cooked, so you don't need to cook them any further. But what my mom used to do is mix so many of them, you're not going to eat them all at once. So she would take them and put them in servings. So she'd figure out how many the family's going to eat in one sitting, and she'd put them in a freezer bag, squeeze all the air out of them, wrap them up nice and tight, throw them in the freezer. And they stayed good for a while. And then what she would do is she'd take some of her sauce that she froze as well, thaw it out in a pot on the oven. As soon as it gets hot, take those frozen meatballs, throw them in there. As soon as the whole mixture is ready to go, make your pasta, throw it over the top of the pasta, man, and you're ready to go. You're living large, let me tell you. So that's the Maciariello's famous meatball recipe from Pietramolara, Italy.